Welcome back. We are the 12-Sided Guys. We have Matt playing Pine.
Hi.
Scott playing Roos.
That's me.
Jordan playing Ebby.
Salutations.
Sabrina playing Nari.
Hi there.
And Paul as the DM. Winky emoji. Thanks for coming along on... Thanks for coming along on our adventure with us. And if you realize that Hadoukens and Aurabolts/Aura Cannons are essentially the same thing, then this adventure is for you. Sit back and relax because it's time for the Crystal Codex, Episode 5.
Can you hear me? So much has happened, and after hearing you the other day in the town square, it makes me think that perhaps you are closer than I thought, perhaps listening to me in my thoughts. After battling a vicious band of gobloids and hobloids, as well as one particularly nasty bogloid, we began to make our way down a secret staircase below the sacred tree at Lord Moshe's ancient shrine. We descended for a while before arriving at a waterfall with a passageway behind it. The passage led us into some sort of an ancient shrine or facility. The floor had a beautiful mosaic depicting the various crystals arranged on the floor in a circle, similar to the depiction to what the Empire currently uses. This all clearly predates the Empire, which was strange. What was even more strange was that there were these statues which, in a way, almost looked like me. Well, we investigated as best we could, and solved a few puzzles. One puzzle, interestingly, required us to carry crystals from one statue to another. No one was able, or allowed, to pick up and carry the crystals except for me. This is all so strange. Even familiar in some way. Neum, if you can hear me, help me understand what this all means, and where I come from. I would speak more, but we have just been beset by a group of rather large spiders at the end of a tunnel. In order to pass it, it appears that Lady Artarian will require payment in flesh, so that her decay may rejuvenate this place. May the balance of nature be with me.
All right, welcome back. So just a recap of where we left off last time. The heroes are in a bit of trouble. They have been exploring this underground ancient facility. There was some shenanigans with moving some crystals from one statue to the next. Ebby realized that the statue that was holding out its hands, waiting for these crystals, kind of looked a little bit like him. They noticed that there was a floor mosaic that mimicked the same pattern as the Almerian Empire. And after opening a secret passage and entering this long hallway into this room that's starting to kind of flood, they were attacked by giant spiders. After killing 3 of these small spiders and Roos being knocked unconscious twice, Nari being wrapped up with web, we are continuing this combat right back up at the top. We have 2 spiders ready to go. Roos, you're still unconscious, right?
I received 3 hit points from the magic unicorn in the room.
Okay, so you are awake. So the spider that's next to you is going to try to decide whether it goes for you as it sees your eyes flutter open, or the maybe bigger threat and bigger person, Nari, who is standing right beside you. It's going to go for Nari. Here we go. It tries to bite you with a 16. Does that hit?
My AC is 16.
Oh, it got you. All right, so it's going to try to bite you. It deals 3 damage, and I need you to make another Constitution save.
Okay, my Constitution save was 20.
That's perfect. So you are only going to take half of this damage. It dealt 9 damage. You take 4 poison damage on top of that bite. And then Pine, you've got one coming after you. It is going to try to bite you again with an 18.
That's my AC.
These spiders are insane. They have a +3 to hit, and I cannot roll lower than a 15. Okay, you are going to take 3 damage. Make a Constitution save.
Okay. My Constitution save is a 4.
So you take 5 more poison damage.
Okay.
How are you looking?
I'm better than I was last time you had to heal me.
Okay.
All right, Roos, you your eyes open up. You are laying in water again. This is getting quite familiar. And again, just a reminder from last time we were playing, when you go unconscious, we have a house rule that when you wake up again, you gain a level of exhaustion. This is the second time that Roos has gone unconscious and woken up. So he is now at exhausted level 2, which doesn't that do some things to your skill checks and to your movement?
So level 1 is any skill checks or disadvantage. Level 2 is half speed.
And at level 5, don't you die?
I'd have to double check. I don't know, but I'm hoping you don't kill me.
Well, I'm not killing you. It's these spiders.
Level 6 is death.
Level 6 is death. So just a heads up, the reason why we do this is because that keeps us from, having one person going unconscious, and then just bring them back with 1 hit point, saving your lay on hands or whatever skills that you use to bring people back. It makes it a little bit more dangerous, but also a little bit more realistic, I think. And we asked the players beforehand if they were okay with this rule. Everyone was cool with this rule, so it is in. All right, Roos, what are you going to do? You are laying prone in this pool of water with a spider next to you that just attacked your friend Nari.
Roos is very nervous. He's going to spend his whole movement standing up as best he can. Shaky feet. He's going to pull his short sword out in one hand, and he's going to grip one of his throwing daggers in his other hand, and he's going to try and attack 2 times at the one in front of him. The first attack with his short sword is a 12.
You hit.
For 7 damage, and if Nari
is next.
Threatening, okay. Yeah. Okay, so 14 damage total on that first one.
You rear back with your short sword and you stab the spider. And as you go with the other hand to try to plunge the knife in, the spider kind of shakes on your sword and slides off dead. And you don't even bother swinging the second blow because the spider is dead. So you still have a bonus action then if you want to do something different.
I am very, very tired. I'm just going to kind of lean against the wall next to me and take a breather.
All right. It looks like at this point there are 2 spiders left. The big one up in the top, like the northwest corner that Ebby is going against. And then there's a small one that's down more in the middle of the room that Pine is confronting. And that brings us to Pine's turn.
Okay. Pine is going to take a swing at it with a 24. It was a 19, so not a crit, but 24.
Why don't you roll some damage then? That definitely hits.
It's only 7.
7 damage. Okay.
Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and try to, without breaking my, without getting too far away from it and drawing an attack of opportunity, I'm going to start trying to move a little bit closer to the big guy so that once I finish this little one, I can move over to the big one.
Yeah, not a problem. You edge your way a little bit closer to the big one, and you feel like if it came to it, you could reach the big one in 1 turn, no problem. Okay, Nari, you are up. If you want to bust out, you can make a strength check. Or a strength save?
Yeah, let's roll for that.
Okay, the DC is 12.
I got a 14.
14. You bust out. You are now good to go. You got your axe ready, and you can move, and you have a bonus action. But the busting out was your actual action.
You can action surge.
Okay, so I will move towards the big one, and then I will try to attack it.
Okay.
And I got a 22 to hit.
That definitely hits.
And then I got a 5 of damage.
A 5 of damage. I think that means that you rolled a 2, which means that you get to re-roll that damage. Because you have Great Weapon Master, so if you roll a 1 or a 2 on your damage, you get to re-roll and take the second number.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's very handy. And I rolled a 2 again. So I still got 5.
Okay, so now it really was 5 damage. Okay. All right, Nari, good move. It is now the giant spider's turn. He is going to make a roll here, or she, can't tell, and does not get the webbing back. This giant spider is backed into a corner, surrounded by Ebby and Nari, and so is going to try to decide who he's going for, and he's going for Ebby. Ebby, it tries to bite you with a 13 to hit.
That does not hit.
I think that's the first miss. Is that the first miss?
Hallelujah.
Okay, that is the first miss of this combat. Okay, and Ebby, it's now your turn.
Woohoo! Okay, first things first, I'm going to go ahead and use my fighting baton to go ahead and have a have a strike at this guy, and I do 18 to hit.
That definitely hits. Right, you roll some damage.
Cool, and then it was 7 damage up above.
Damage. This thing is looking pretty worse for wear. In fact, it looks like a couple of its legs are broken now. One of the legs is actually broken off, and it's kind of leaking out this kind of green viscous fluid as it rears back up into the corner. You have now cornered this beast, and you are dealing some heavy damage to it.
Nice.
It is now.
Hold on, I want to do a bonus action if I can still.
I will allow it. Sorry.
No, it's all good. I just want to yell down to Roos and be like, hang in there, you've got this, and cast Erdos's Word of Healing on him as well with a first level spell slot and heal him for 5, and then everybody else will get the 3 hit point benefit.
That unicorn is awesome. All right. Last baby spider going after Pine. 13. That is a miss.
That's totally a miss. It's the second miss of this combat. And I'm so glad it was directed at me.
All right. Roos, what are you doing?
Roos is still kind of sweating, very tired. He's going to shamble his way up, barely making it up to the large spider. And he's just going to be cursing and muttering under his breath as he tries to kill the thing.
Okay. Why don't you make your attack?
With my short sword, I rolled an 8, and then I'm trying with my dagger to strike at it. I rolled a crit with my dagger.
That's a crit. All right. Why don't you roll that damage?
Is that the first crit of the game?
I think so.
First crit of the game.
Yes. So I rolled 5 piercing damage, and then does it double your sneak attack?
It doubles all dice rolled.
Okay. So I did 5, 14. I did 24 damage to this thing.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so why don't you describe what happens as this giant spider is backed into this corner and you kind of groggily walk over?
I picture Roos just so exhausted and just done, and like to the point of like not caring whether he lives or dies. He just runs up and almost falls into the thing, misses with his short sword, the short sword clattering on the ground next to him, and just stabbing repeatedly into the head of this spider as much as he can. Just more laying on the spider than actually like defending himself at all, and just brutalizing it with this dagger.
You are covered in ichor and guts and gore and the hard shell of this spider. I mean, you know what an exoskeleton feels like. This feels like relatively, rigid, like almost like armor plating, but you managed to just stab your throwing knife just repeatedly into the head of this spider until it stops spasming and moving. Pine, it's your turn. There's one spider left, and it's up on you.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and attack it with 17 to hit.
That definitely hits.
And 8 damage.
8 damage, and you vanquish the last spider.
Like, I've done it, everyone. Don't worry. I've ended the threat.
I appreciate that.
All right. We are out of initiative. That was pretty brutal.
Yes.
Yikes. So how is everyone doing? Who's the worst for wear right now? I know you are exhausted, Roos. How's everyone doing otherwise?
Well, I could use a rest as well. I think I need to catch my breath. And Pine's going to sit over with his feet dangling down the stairs.
I think Roos, you're still worst for wear in terms of hit points, probably, right?
Yeah, I'm still hurting quite a bit. I'm probably at like 35% health.
Okay. I will do Erdos touch on you and try to get you healed up. Only 5, but then everybody gets the +3 again. And I bet you that Lord Moshe's companion will probably not last much longer, so it'll probably drift back towards me and kind of almost apparition-like, kind of float back into my own like body.
Like, how would you describe that? Would you just like it? Does it kind of get sucked in like gas or smoke into your body type of thing? Or does it just kind of disappear as it kind of apparates over you?
I kind of imagine it just kind of like drifting into like the metal breastplate central body of me and just kind of like disappearing, almost like a ghost moving through a wall.
Okay. Very cool. All right, Pine, as you go sit on these lower stairs, these ones that are at the kind of the bottom of the room, you can see that this hallway, this other hallway you haven't been down, it looks like it's a wider hallway, but it goes about 30 feet down the hallway to another double door. You can see that at the end of the hallway. It looks very similar to the doors that you encountered last time we played that entered into the room with the mosaic floor.
Okay. All right.
The same mechanical kind of copper, almost artistic, mechanical doors.
There's more doors down here. Get Gigi ready. We may need to employ her again.
Well, I'll get her, but I'm going to be moving pretty slow, and she's even slower than me when she's on top health. So it'll be a minute before I can walk over there.
As Roos walks by, Pine will put his hand on his shoulder and say, "You've done absolutely amazing," and give him 5 points of commander's morale healing.
I don't need quite that many. I only need a couple.
Oh, okay.
Let's be honest; it's more of a pat on the bum. It's a good game.
After Evie healed me, I was in pretty good shape after that.
Okay, well then I'll use it on myself then, because I'm less than half. So
my dramaticism is more because I'm exhausted, but I also got hurt. So, but I'm good on health though.
Okay, well then I will heal myself for 5. I've done good. And pat myself on the shoulder.
Okay, what's everybody else doing?
I'll come over here by Pine and them as well.
What's kind of your plan at this point? Are you guys taking a short rest? Are you guys exploring further?
Oof.
I could keep going. If we want a short rest, though, that's fine with me too.
I'm ready to keep going. There's nothing that short rest wouldn't do me too much good. I think I need another night's sleep.
Yeah. Tell me about it. I don't think I'm going to start feeling better until I can hit my pillow tonight. And hell, it's probably not any later than 10 o'clock at this point in the morning.
Yeah. You guys woke up just a couple hours ago.
Well, we better figure out what's going on behind these doors.
Let's head down.
Hopefully not more spiders.
I'm just worried that we're not going to run into fallen heaven on our trek down here. I mean, not unless there's a different entrance into this place. I doubt that they've been in here.
No, it doesn't look like anyone has in a long time.
You guys can make insight or perception checks.
All right, Pine rolled a 21 perception.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't do disadvantage, sorry.
Well, a 9 isn't going to cut it anyway.
You're right.
Nari also rolled a 21.
Ooh.
You 21 with your perception or insight?
I think I rolled insight.
Insight, okay.
And I got a nat 20.
Nice.
So 23 on my perception.
Fantastic. Okay, so Ebby and Pine, as you guys are kind of looking around, you see that you're right. This place has not been used recently at all. The only even signs of life that you've seen have been these spiders and these webs. You see that like moss and things have started to grow up the walls, especially in that last room where there was actually like a water leak. That moisture in the air had really kind of helped things to grow in that room. And the ground, Ebby, you kind of get down on the ground and start looking at the ground, looking at the different patterns of the moss and everything that's growing on these tiles. This has not been disturbed for a very long time. This place has been locked up. And with your 21 insight, Nari, you kind of imagine that this place was sealed up for a reason. Like something may be hidden down here, or something important might be kept, or some secret that people don't want to get out.
That's what a 21 insight showed me, that someone sealed up a secret cavern for a secret.
I felt that sass from here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here we go. I think I gave you. Oh, well, whatever. It doesn't matter. Here we go.
You gave us some information. I'll say that. You gave us some information.
All right. There's these double doors in front of you. Roos, are you gonna do what you did last time?
I'm gonna attempt to, but disadvantage. So I'm gonna investigate it first. See if it's trapped or locked. And I rolled a 15.
You send Gigi out. Gigi kind of investigates. This one has the same hole. Gigi kind of looks inside and flits back to you. Doesn't even attempt to like lick the hole or anything or stick tail in or nothing like that. And that kind of indicates to you that it seems like this door is not locked and it's not trapped.
Okay. I'll relay that to everybody and just kind of wave at the door and lean against the wall.
Okay.
You're not going to be the one to open it, even though you're saying it's not trapped.
I'll open it.
I'm moving very slow, guys. Doing my best here.
He's a bit tuckered out, poor little guy.
Pine will move up to the door and actually start to slide it open because they were in tracks, right?
Yeah, they were in tracks. Give me 1 second. Stinking thing. All right.
Yeah, I'm at half speed until I sleep 2 days.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. Okay.
But you get at least you're not disadvantaged after one rest.
No, I get full speed after one rest, and then a day 2, then I get my disadvantage gone.
Okay, Pine, you open the door. It slides open, again, relatively easily. That whole ASMR vibe that we described last time. And
Feel the cover of the canvas book.
It opens up into this large room. It's kind of a little bit odd shaped, but you see that there's bookcases along one wall, bookcases along another wall. There's some desks. You see like the floors are carpeted. You see basically straight across the room on the other side, there's another door. So there's the door you came in and there's another door on the other side of the room. But other than that, it looks like there's like bookcases. So there's actually like some other interesting things around the room. But as far as you can tell, unless you guys want to start investigating or doing any kind of other things in this room, it looks like this room looks like it was done like used for some like storage or research or something to that effect.
Oh, I'd love to investigate this room.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Is everybody going to investigate?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
I rolled a 9.
I rolled an 8.
Ooh, I got a 17.
I rolled a nat 1.
Oh.
Now he sets the room on fire.
We'll say this. As you guys walk in and you're looking around, Roos, you're exhausted. You actually find a chair that it looks like it's about ready to fall apart, but you kind of test it and it seems like it's still stable. And you sit down and you literally close your eyes for a second. You just need to rest. Pine, you're looking through. You find with your what did you get again, Pine? You got
9.
You find it looks like there's a couple of like a pile on like one of the carpets, a pile of these small crystals, all different colors. And as you get closer, you can see that some of them are actually kind of glowing, like they still have some kind of innate power in them. But there's just this pile of crystals. Nari, as you're walking in and you're investigating, you literally cannot stop looking at the ceiling, waiting for more spiders to drop down on you. Ebby, you go start investigating some of the bookcases. And Ebby, as you're kind of looking through the bookcases, you see there's a lot of, looks like ledgers and things, handwritten things. You see some scrolls that are tucked into different places. As you touch some of the books, they immediately crumble at your touch. But with your 17, you're kind of gently like feeling around on some of these bookcases. You feel one spine of a book that is actually solid. You touch it and you feel like this one's not going to give way. And you feel like you could pull it out and maybe even look at it.
My goodness, this is old books and scrolls. My goodness, they can't even stand up to being touched. But what do we have here? I'll go ahead and start kind of looking through it gently to see if I can discern what's written here.
Okay. You open up a book. Let's see. I need to know, what languages do you speak?
I have Common and let's see here. which is the
Almerian.
the Almerian language.
It's the imperial official language.
I think that was pretty much it. I also have like druidic language, kind of the ability to speak.
Oh, and you speak Sylvan as well.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so you don't actually understand what is written on this book. You do see that it has some words on the cover, and it looks like embedded in the cover of the book is a yellow crystal, and the crystal just has the very faintest of glows to it. But you open up the book and it is just, you see like diagrams drawn in there. You see a whole bunch of writing. Some of it, I mean, it's all very neatly written, but it looks like this was written by hand, and you can't actually read the language. Pine, as you start looking through those crystals, you determine that if you were to take them, you would have about 28 gold pieces worth of crystals.
I will I'll grab them.
I want to turn to the rest of the group and ask if anyone else is familiar with this language and just kind of show the book to each of them.
I need to know what languages everybody speaks then.
Pine speaks Almerian and Menorese, or Menorese, or Menoresi.
I think it's Menorese.
Menorese. He speaks Menorese.
Roos speaks Almerian and Ustranian.
Ustranian is like the native language of Arkelvi, this province, as well as some of the other provinces to the north and to the east.
But Roos is still sleeping. No one has woken him up yet.
Yeah, and Nari also just has common and Ustranian, so.
Ebby, why don't you make an insight check?
A 6.
It'd be really great if somebody could read this language. Oh, well.
I'm going to gently place that into kind of my little traveling satchel.
Okay. All right. That's pretty much all you guys find in this room. It looks like this room might be kind of secure for the time being if you wanted to take a rest, or there's this other door across the way that has not been opened yet. It looks very similar to the other doors, kind of brass, copper, artistic, and mechanical.
Yeah, I say we try to open the door.
Yeah, let's continue on.
Is anybody going to wake up Roos? Roos is just asleep at the other side of the room.
Yeah, I'll gently rouse him a little bit.
Yeah, okay. Yep, are we moving?
You approach this door. Same deal. It looks very similar to the last doors. Are you going to open it the same way you did the other one, Roos?
I'm imagining that even Gigi is tired at this point.
Yes.
She was fully submerged in that puddle when you fell on your face.
2 times.
An 8.
Okay. An 8. Yeah, I mean, Gigi flits over and kind of sticks to the wall for a second and kind of shakes her head. You can tell she's exhausted, and she flies back to you. And she really doesn't check anything, so you really have no clue what's going on with this door.
Sorry, guys. I mean, I can push it open if you want me to, but I don't know.
I'll do it. Come on, Abby, help me out.
Yes, absolutely.
The doors slide open with ease, and it opens into a very large chamber on the other side of this door. It's kind of it's a hexagon, but it's kind of trapezoidal in shape. As you look around the room, you see that there are 4 columns that support the ceiling, but one of the columns has since broken. And in the center of the room, there is some kind of an apparatus it's kind of glowing. It's giving off a light. It's a large circular platform in the middle of the room with like orange and blue kind of rings of energy emanating light. And in the center of this apparatus, there is this sort of a stand, and there is something resting on top of the stand it looks to be kind of circular, but you're at a distance. So I want everyone to make perception checks before anything else happens.
Ebby got a 14.
Pine got a 6.
13.
Roos got a 14.
So Roos and Ebby. Pine, you see this thing, kind of this central thing glowing, and your initial take is there's some kind of magic or mechanics at work, and you don't understand them. Nari, what did you get again?
13.
13. Nari, you're kind of looking kind of this column that had fallen down. You see that around this column that had fallen down, you see that it looks like it crushed some people because there's some bones underneath the fallen column, as well as it looks like there's like some suits of armor or some statues that surround each of the columns. There's a couple of these dead, like very old, decaying skeletons that are crushed by this column. Roos and Ebby. Not Roos, sorry. Yeah, Roos and Ebby. You both see in the far corner, when you open the door and step in, something moves in the corner. And before you know it, there is a very large mechanical construct stands up from where it had been sitting. This construct is massive. It is metal. It is brass and bronze and copper and beautiful. Stands like 19 or 20 feet tall. It has a very small head, very long arms. In its kind of its stomach or chest, it has this almost like it has a circle of blue glowing energy, and it's kind of recessed inside of the circle, almost like a bowl. Does that make sense?
Sort of like a big Iron Man heart thing.
Kind of, I guess. Yeah, you could. Yeah, sure. We can describe it that way. Sure. But yeah, there's like a circle, and it's kind of glowing blue. And as this thing stands up, you see the blue energy kind of coursing through, like underneath the armor plating, and in two eyes on the top of its head. And we are going to roll initiative.
Oof.
He doesn't want to talk?
You guys can try talking to this. I'm just saying, we're rolling initiative. Here's the deal. Initiative does not necessarily mean you have to fight, but it means we're going to start taking turns.
Starting to think that maybe we should have rested in that other room now.
But we would have had, I mean, on mechanics wise, we would have had to rest for 24 hours or almost 24 hours, really, to be ready to fight this thing at full strength.
That's true.
I think the only person who would benefit from a short rest at this point is Nari. Because you could get your other abilities back.
Yeah, I rolled a 7, so I'm not really here to help. Just kind of chilling.
You're just kind of chilling. Okay, well, we have another initiative in place. Pine, you see this construct, this giant mechanical structure, stand up and clock the four of you as you enter the room.
Pine will say, "Oh, hello, are you like my friend Ebby?" And I will prepare to... Actually, I'll take the dodge action.
Okay.
And I will... I'll move to the north a little bit.
It is now this big beastly... I keep saying beast. He's not a beast. You're not going to talk to him, Ebby. I'm sorry. You see this large construct, this large robot. It heard you say something, and it responds back in a language that you understand. It sounds very mechanical. It sounds kind of beep, bop, boop, bop, beep. I don't know. That's my impression of a robot. Beep, bop, boop, bop, beep. Anyway, it says something, and then it starts to walk towards you, Pine. And as it walks, I want you to make a perception check.
Okay, perception. 16.
As it walks, you see... When it moves, you see age. You see that, like, as it takes a step with its left leg, its knee kind of buckles out to the side. You see it kind of, it's wobbly as it walks. It uses its hands to help steady itself as it's walking towards you. But it gets towards you, and it gets right up next to you, and it looks down at you, and it raises up a fist, and it brings it down in an attack against you.
With disadvantage.
With disadvantage, and I don't think he can hit you anyway. Yeah, he rolled an 8 and a 9, and let me just make sure, but I don't think that can hit you. Yeah, nope, that does not hit you.
Okay.
You have 18 AC, right?
I do.
No, you're good. You are good. That brings us then to Ebby.
I am going to kind of move up here with Pine, and I don't think it's going to understand me, but I'm going to kind of start yelling at it and be like, "Hey, back off! We don't need to fight." And I'm assuming that doesn't do anything though, and so I'll use the old rod baton thing and use my bonus action to kind of innervate that with some energy, and then I'll go ahead and have a swipe at it.
Why don't you make your attack?
All right. That's a 9 to hit. That's
That
terrible.
does miss. All right. Nari, you are up.
Okay, so I will see if this central area is somehow in conjunction with the robot or anything like that.
You can make a perception check.
So that is 13.
13. You see the glowing in the central, like, circular apparatus, and you see the glowing coming from underneath the seams of the armor of this giant robot. But they don't seem to be in sync or anything like that. As this robot was walking, nothing had really changed that you could tell in that central apparatus.
Well, I guess that's kind of my turn. So yeah, I'll just hang out here for now.
All right. Roos, what are you going to do?
I will reach into my pouch and grab a grease crystal and crack it and throw it at the guy.
All right. He has to make a reflex save.
A dex save, DC 12.
And then he goes prone, right?
Yep, he falls
He failed.
prone.
Yeah, he goes prone. He rolled a 9, so he is flat on his back.
Okay.
It shakes the whole ground where you're standing. This thing hits the ground and just everything vibrates. Okay.
I'm going to take a couple steps up to stand against the wall behind Pine on the other side of the creature and just kind of breathing heavily like, okay, next round I'll get up there. Next round, guys. Just a sec.
Letting Pine be your human shield.
Yes.
All right. Well, that brings us back to the top of the round, and that is Pine. It is your turn.
Okay. Well,
And
go ahead.
just a reminder, it did try to attack you.
I know. I saw it try to attack me. So I will go ahead, and I was going to move around to kind of put some distance between me and Abby, but as soon as Roos kind of takes a defensive position behind me, I will stay there, and I will go ahead and attack. It's prone, so I have advantage on the attack. So that's a 24 to hit.
That definitely hits.
For 9 piercing damage from my saber.
Yeah, as you strike it, you hit an armor plate that immediately buckles and falls off.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, it is now its turn. It stands up using half of its move, and it now has 2 targets. It says something again in its beep bop boop language that you guys don't understand, and we're going to see if he attacks Pine or if he attacks Ebby. I don't know why I did that. Okay, let's roll. And he is going to attack Ebby. Ebby, you are going to get attacked, and the roll is a 14.
That does not hit.
Not hit. All right. So this guy, the spiders couldn't not hit you, and this guy can't actually make contact. Ebby, what are you up to?
With the oil, the grease now in play, I'm going to use my robotic energy saber. So my hand kind of reconfigures and this jet of fire erupts from my hand, basically as though it were like a fiery sword. And I want to try and light the grease on fire with it. I don't know if you want that to be my like an attack action or just an interaction with that.
I dig it. Let's make it an attack only because is the grease flammable? Is that part of the spell?
Oh, good question.
That's not part of the spell description, but grease is flammable.
I dig the flavor, so we'll call it an action, but we'll say that's what you're trying to do.
Perfect.
Let's have you make your attack with it.
Alrighty. So here's the attack roll.
Nice.
25. It's a crit.
That's a crit. All right, natural 20. Why don't you go ahead and roll that damage for the crit, and so you double the dice, and then add your modifiers.
Roll that beautiful crit damage.
1 plus 4 plus 2.
All
So
right.
that was 7. We'll times
Yeah.
that by 2. That's 14.
Okay, we'll call that good then.
All right. Nice. Are you going to stay put?
Yeah. I'll stick around right here.
All right. Nari, you see your allies have been attacking this giant beast. Sorry, I keep calling it a beast. This giant construct.
All right, Nari's gonna move up and she's gonna swing at it with her axe, and she is going to hit for 15.
That does hit. As you hit, you see another armor plate kind of fall off.
Okay, and then the damage is 6.
6 damage. All right.
Quick question. So did I succeed on setting this guy on fire basically with the grease and stuff?
We'll say that the grease, yeah, he lit on fire. You dealt some damage, and then he's got flames flickering up and down on his armor. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Will he take continuing damage from that?
You know, it flavor-wise, it sounds cool, but there's other spells that do cause continuous burn. So I don't. Well, I feel like a jerk for saying no.
No, it's okay.
I think you're a jerk, but I still like you.
All right. Yeah, we'll say it does deal some damage. On his turn, he's going to take some damage unless he can put it out. Okay, Roos, it's your turn.
Okay. I forgot on his turn. So, quick side note: he ended his turn in that same grease that I made, so he would have had to make a saving throw to stay standing.
That's right. Difficulty what?
12.
Okay, he makes it. He's fine.
Okay, just okay. So Roos will stumble up next to Pine, squaring off with this robotic creature, and take a strike with his short sword. And rolled a 22 to hit.
Definitely hits.
And got 7 piercing and 2 precision.
Okay, so that's 9 extra damage.
And then I'm going to bonus action disengage and just kind of stumble backwards. My last 5 feet of movement.
Yeah, again, you see like pieces of like metal, like plating buckling and falling off, and like chips of rust and things are kind of cascading out. It looks like this guy, whatever he is, was not as well preserved as if let's say Ebby is ancient. Ebby's much better preserved than this guy was. Okay. All right, Pine, that brings us back to your turn.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and make an attack with my saber. Does a 19 hit?
Definitely hits.
For 8 damage.
8 damage. You guys are whittling this guy away. It is now his turn. Okay, what he is going to do, he is going to step out of the grease. Actually, first let's deal some damage. Okay, why don't you roll a d4 and see how much fire damage he gets.
Okie dokie. 2 damage.
All right, he doesn't even seem to really notice the fire damage, but he's going to take he's not even going to attempt to disengage. He's just going to step back, and that means that looks like Pine and Ebby get and Pine, Ebby, and Nari all get attacks against him.
Does a 15 hit?
15 does hit. Yes.
For 8 more damage.
Okay.
15 to hit.
Hits.
12 fire damage.
12 fire damage. Okay, and then Nari, you get your attack of opportunity as well.
I got a 17 to hit.
That does hit.
And then 4 damage.
4 damage. Roll it again, because that's a 1, it sounds like.
Oh, yeah. No, I keep forgetting that. That's so nice. 7.
Yeah, this guy is, he's getting beat up pretty bad. He's kind of falling apart. In fact, you see as he's kind of walking away from you, like now his right knee is buckling as well, and he's leaving like fingers from his hands as he walks away. And then he turns around as he gets about like 10 or 15 feet away from you guys, and you see this circle on his stomach just kind of start to glow, and like a light is spinning around the rim really, really fast. And then suddenly you hear the words, "Mana Burst!" Boom! And then just a bright flash of light. It sears down, and we'll see who it's going to attack. It's either going to hit Roos and Pine, Pine and Ebby, or Ebby and Nari. So I'm going to roll a d6, and we'll see who it hits. Oh, it looks like it's going for Ebby and Nari. All right, you guys. I am going to see if it hits you guys. All right. Nope. Ebby totally missed you. And Nari, does a 17 hit you?
Yes.
So you take some damage, and this is actually pretty severe damage. It looks like you take... Ooh, 21 points of damage as you get blasted by this mana burst that bursts out of this guy's stomach.
All right, I'm out.
You're out. You're
Ooh.
down.
I'm down.
Nari is down. All right. That brings us to Ebby.
Oof. Well, let's see here. I think first thing I will do is use Erdos's word. No, I'll just use. Okay. Well, I'll use Erdos's touch on Nari to try to get her back into the saddle again. So 6 healing points.
So, Nari, that's 1 level of exhaustion for you as well.
Cool.
And then
Don't lie. That's not cool.
Oh, it's better than being dead, so I'll take it.
and I'm going to move up and do that.
Nari, all you remember is seeing this bright flash of light that like seared your retina, and then you wake up on your back and you kind of feel very tired, but you're awake and it's your turn.
I am just going to stay back and I'm going to throw one of my hand axes
Okay.
towards them. So that is going to be a 15 to hit,
That does hit.
and it is going to be a 7 for damage.
7 damage. You're whittling this guy away. You guys have dealt a ton of damage to him. He is falling to pieces, but he's still standing. So at this point, Pine and Nari are kind of stepped back a little bit from this giant construct, and Ebby is up in its grill. There's also this, they're both kind of north of this apparatus that's in the middle of the room. Roos, it is your turn.
So I will run to stand next to Ebby and square off against the robot and take a swipe with my short sword. I rolled a 22 to hit.
That hits.
And got 9 piercing and 7 precision.
16 damage. Ooh. Okay. So you see that like almost like steam is starting to come out of some of these joints, and you see like where you guys have been hitting this and armor plates have been falling off, you see like glowing of what you recognize as like crystal energy kind of pulsating out from these joints and these wounds in this armor. And that brings us to Pine.
Okay. As Pine moves, so Pine's going to move up and try to stay somewhat away from his colleagues, so that way that one attack kind of put some distance so that we wouldn't be grouped up and hit by that one attack.
Right.
And as I'm moving, I'll say to Roos, I'll say, "Are those beep boops some kind of language? Can you understand that?" And then I will attack with my saber.
Okay.
A 17 to hit.
That does hit.
For 6 damage.
For 6 damage.
That's minimum damage. Boo.
That's minimum damage. Make a quick perception check.
Okay. I got a 9.
Okay. More armor pieces fly off. He actually goes down to one knee, but he is still standing and ready to swing, and it is his turn. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to roll to see if he gets back his mana burst. It is back. All right. 1, 2, 3. So I'm just going to tell you how this is going to go, because it looks like the best option for him is to try to blast Roos, Ebby, and Nari, who are all kind of in a line, in a chunk. This kind of 10-foot wide line of energy that comes shooting out of his stomach. And he is going to attack at Roos and Ebby and Nari. So I believe, Roos, you got hit. And Ebby, you got hit. And Nari, you got hit.
I got hit.
Everybody, yeah. So that is going to be a total of 18 damage. So 18 damage to Roos, Ebby, and Nari.
I'm out again.
As the room flashes bright with this white energy came coursing out of his stomach. And yeah, Nari falls down again, unconscious.
Oh, I'm concentrating on a spell. I probably need to do like a concentration check, right?
So that was 18 points of damage. So concentration is 10.
Okay. So is it a Constitution, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. 18.
Not a problem. And it's actually your turn.
Okay. Oof. Whale. I'll go ahead and have another attack at him with the energy saber. Goodness, and only an 8. Man, I keep rolling really garbage on my to hit.
Well, again, it's the same thing. It's like your optical orbs that are recessed into your bucket helmet face are just they kind of go haywire with that big blast of light.
Yeah.
Anything else you wanted to do?
I think I'll use my bonus action to do Erdos's word from where I'm at.
Okay.
To try to heal Nari. Be like, Nari, you can do this. Stay with us. And I'll heal her for 7.
Okay. And she has now 2 levels of exhaustion.
Yep.
All right, again, your eyes flicker open as you are laying on the ground again, and it is your turn.
I will throw another axe at this guy because I'm not moving any closer. And I only get a 9 to hit.
That misses. All right. Roos.
Roos is going to look at Ebby and say, well, hopefully we make it out of this one. And I'm going to try and attack it with my short sword. Miss. And then since I missed with the short sword, I'm going to use one of my daggers. Get an 18 to hit with the dagger.
I'm going to let you in on a little secret. It doesn't matter.
Oh.
This creature has 1 hit point left. It almost went down last round before it got that last mana burst off. So, Roos, describe what you do to take this construct down, this 19-foot giant mechanical being that's been kind of traipsing through the room.
So again, I miss with my main weapon on the dramatic scene and come in just frustrated with this dagger, and I stab it right into its the glowy center, the glowing center that looks like the Iron Man energy cell.
Yeah, cool. You stab it. You see more and more plates and things fall off. It kind of starts to shake and shudder, and it starts to hobble around in circles, and then it kind of tumbles backwards. And as it lands, you see it starts to glow, and without anybody doing an insight check, you realize this thing is going to explode. So I don't need anyone to make a reflex save or anything because it is a very focused explosion. The explosion actually blasts out of his head, and the head is now gone. And it hits this back wall, and it actually blows the wall out. And go figure, it reveals some kind of a natural cavern back behind.
Does anybody else remember the Iron Giant and feel kind of sad and guilty? Or is that
This is the second Iron Giant reference we've had in this campaign. Paul still hasn't seen the movie.
I noticed that somebody took that out of our recording. Somebody edited that part out of our recording that I hadn't seen the movie. Yeah, so there's robots in this world, so Iron Giant references will probably come back into play. And I do need to see that movie. Okay, there is now it's just heaps of metal, and you can see like there's as the metal kind of falls off this machine, you see crystals, and as you were watching these crystals, they kind of they lose their color and they turn clear, and then they just kind of shatter and disintegrate and blow away with this kind of this loss of energy in this being. And now here you are. I think everybody is at least awake. There is this apparatus in the middle of the room. The middle of the room, that apparatus is still glowing. It still has like the ring of energy emanating from whatever is on the pedestal in the middle of the room. Ebby, you are close enough to see what is on that pedestal. It looks like a. Okay, so here we go. I might regret describing it like this, but it almost is like the size of a family size pizza from Papa Murphy's. Okay.
Man, this is amazing right now.
It is a large circle like the size of a round shield, and it actually, as you look at it, it kind of looks like a round shield, but it's got a metal band around the outside, and then it is actually segmented into 8 different pie pieces, and each pie piece is a different crystal. And as you're looking at this, it goes in that same order as you saw on the mosaic in the other room when we were playing last time. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue. Red, orange, yellow, green, light blue, dark blue, purple, and then white in the kind of a clockwise pattern. And it is sitting there, and in between each different color of crystal, you see almost like a spoke. There's a thin strip of like copper that separates each section of crystal. And as you're looking at that crystal pizza shield looking thing, Abby, I want you to make a nature check.
Sure.
Wait, nature for a crystal pizza shield?
Oh, sorry, nature or arcana.
I'll stick with nature. So I got an 11.
But all you can tell with this is that it looks like these crystals are not a naturally formed crystal. Oftentimes when you see like crystal tech or like people put crystals into things, they still have their natural shape. So like Roos, when you pull a crystal out to use one of your tricks, it still has like the natural like the shape of the crystal. Like it's not refined or cut down or anything like that. It's just some are bigger than others. And Pine, you can remember seeing a very large crystal at one point in your past, a la session 0, that even that crystal was still like a rough shape of the natural form of this crystal. Does that make sense?
Yeah, raw crystal. Mm-hmm.
Yes. This crystal shield looking thing does not, it's formed crystal. And so, Ebby, you've never seen crystal form like this naturally. So either it's been machined or it was grown in some weird way. But this is definitely a unique looking thing. And as you look at this item, you see the glowing around on this apparatus, and it's just resting there on the pedestal.
Well, should I take that? I'm a little bit worried about what will happen if I remove it.
I wasn't able to touch the other crystals, so I think this one's on you.
Okay. Perhaps everyone should get to someplace safe.
Be careful, Ebby. Be careful. Actually, Pine's going to go over to Nari, actually, and go ahead and give her some commander's morale. So you can heal up 5 more hit points.
Oh, thanks, man. All right, I'm going to try and hide back in this corner and just not die. It's my goal.
There's literally another room that you guys can go hide in.
I want to see the excitement. Like, come on.
Yeah, we're looking, but just like peeking through the door like the Three Stooges looking into a room.
Cool. I will see if I can't remove this pizza shield, this crystal thing from the apparatus if I can.
Instant regret calling it a family-sized pizza. You
Nope,
pick up the round crystalline shield shape, not a pizza, and instantly the light around the apparatus turns off, but you are holding this in your hands.
Interesting. I'm sure I sense some sort of magical energy coming from it.
You can feel like a power of some kind of throbbing from it, kind of a pulsating energy. It's fairly light. You know, it's not like static electricity where if you had hair, it would be standing on end, nothing like that. You just kind of can feel a little bit of like a buzz coming from it.
Got it.
Any idea what that could be? It looks like some sort of crystal pizza shield. I couldn't even get that out all the way.
I'm envisioning like pepperoni shaped, like different crystals around it.
I know.
It sounds delicious.
These guys for $11.99 on Tuesday.
Oh my gosh. Originally I was like, maybe I'll describe it like a Trivial Pursuit piece, but then that only has 6 colors and this has 8 colors. So
I'll do my best not to use pizza anymore in a reference to it. I'll call it the Crystal Shield, at least from now on, even though it may not be actually a shield. Is it a shield?
It's a circle and you kind of turn it over in your hands and it looks like it's the same on one side as it is on the other side.
Okay.
It's a disc.
All right.
Giant crystal frisbee.
Got it.
Disc golf.
Well, I have no idea what this is for and what it does. It certainly has some sort of magical energy, but I have no clue as to what its function would be.
Well, have you tried pushing any of the different segments? Are they buttons?
Can I? Are they buttons?
You start pushing on it and it feels like it's solid.
Bop it.
There's no give to it.
It's a Simon. It's an advanced Simon game.
So somebody bought our kids a Simon, and every once in a while it'll just turn on. Alert.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Beep, bop. I was like, oh gosh, Simon. Oh, man. Simon was one of those games that was always so frustrating to me. Like, I don't know why anybody would want to play that game. It's like Bop It. I don't get it. I don't get it. I get too tense in that kind of stuff.
Well, there seems to be another passage that opened up when this beast's head exploded. You like how I called it a beast, Paul?
Again, not a beast. It's a construct. It's a robot.
I like to think that the fact that Ebby is a robot and can turn into a beast has confused you now, and you can't really separate the two in your mind.
I was just scared. Beast, like, it's huge, it's big, and then I realized, wait, beasts are actually a thing in D&D, and so and Ebby can talk to them. So I'm like, this is not a beast. This is not a beast.
Well, I think definitely let's go and explore whatever it was that was revealed. But before we leave, I'd like to do a little bit of searching of this construct's remains, as well as some of these bodies that are here.
Yeah, I'd like to look at the statues or suits of armor, see if there's anything useful, something we could take with us.
Okay. I want you guys to do some investigation checks.
just looting around the dead bodies.
I rolled a 3.
A 5. We're rolling so good tonight.
Well, and it's not that you don't find anything. It's just that what you find doesn't seem to be of value. It looks like these suits of armor, for one, Pine, how tall are you, Pine?
Good question. I'm about 6'2".
Okay, actually, so these suits of armor look like you might be able to fit into them. They're a little bit taller than you, but they're also more narrow, right?
Okay.
It's like very tall and thin suits of armor, and there's nothing magical about them. And as you're looking at them, you see that they are decorative as opposed to functional.
Okay.
They are unique though. Like the helmets have like a visor, but the visor sticks way out, like out in front, and it almost reminds you of like a bird beak or something coming down. And like the pauldrons on the side are like extra big but thin. So like they stick way up, but they're just thin metal. So it's a decorative armor, but it's very stylized in a unique way.
I'll just take one of the helmets then.
Okay. And then Roos.
Roos got a 16 on investigation.
So what exactly are you investigating? What did you want to be investigating?
I just wanted to poke around on the dead bodies and just kind of, see if there's anything of value on them.
Roos, you've been around dead bodies before. You're looking at these, and you've I don't know if you've been a tomb robber or anything like that.
No, this is Roos's first experience that I like this.
So as you're investigating these bodies, it looks like they have scraps of clothing on them. This one column had fallen on them. You see a couple other bodies kind of in another corner. These look very, very old, very ancient. And as you're looking at them, you can't tell if they expired from battle or if they just expired from some other reason. But you do find some actual little baggies full of crystals though on a couple of the bodies.
Okay. I'll pick up the bags and I'll say, I got these crystals. We can look at them later, and I'll put them in my pouch.
All right, and then Nari, what are you doing?
I actually got a 5. I forgot that with my exhaustion, I only get I have to roll disadvantage, so never mind.
Nari, you start
I'm just
looking for a great place to lay down in a corner.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so that's kind of what you see in here. The lights have turned off around this apparatus, and Ebby has a book and a pizza shield, and Roos found some crystals, and Pine has a new helmet.
Did Ebby find anything on the body of the creature we just fought?
Oh, I am sorry, I forgot that one. Okay, you go and start investigating the body. Why don't you make an Arcana or a Nature check?
I will, again, I've got better for nature, so I will roll
It'll
that
give you
one.
different info, but
Goodness, it's a 9.
you've never seen anything like this except for yourself, but you've also never seen inside of yourself either. So you see tubes and kind of wires and snaking conduit. You see plates and boxes. You see dust from these crystals that had expired that are kind of basically, you imagine where like a person's heart would be, but it's just like it's like this clear kind of grayish powdery remnants of this crystal that disintegrated after this creature expired. You see that some of this plating is decorative and pretty, and it's got nice scroll work on it, maybe some gold filigree, but it's been just degraded and corroded with time.
Got it. Is it possible to also like take some more time and do like an Arcana check as well?
If you guys are going to just hang out here for a bit, maybe take a short rest, then yeah, you can do an Arcana check.
A 10.
Okay. As you're looking, you imagine there has to be some kind of arcane component to creating something like this, but you can't even begin to wrap your head around how this would be done.
Got it. Okay. Well, maybe we should take some time to have a good rest before we proceed forward.
Agreed.
All right. So you guys are going to take a rest, and then cool. You guys did long rest, short rest. What's your plan?
I mean, I would love to do a good snooze, to be honest.
I would assume short rest because it's not even midday most likely.
And there's still this new secret passage. Come on.
I can hobble along, but probably around 2 or 3 today. I'm gonna have to call it a day.
Me and Roos are just hobbling.
Yeah.
Just to warn you, I've exhausted my energy for spell casting.
All right, well, you guys take a short rest. So go ahead and burn any hit dice you want to do. You guys just kind of hang out in this room. You guys want to go into any of the other rooms, or just stay here?
I think I'm fine staying here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay here.
That's fine.
Yeah.
All right, and because we have the rule where when you are knocked to 0 hit points and you're brought back, that you gain a level of exhaustion. We've also, because the combat is more deadly, we've also made it a little bit easier to get rid of exhaustion. So we get rid of 1 level of exhaustion with a short rest as well as a long rest. So after the short rest, you guys use whatever hit points you want to, and then Roos and Nari, you both are now at 1 level of exhaustion instead of 2.
Awesome.
Well, I'm feeling like I can walk at a regular pace, but I'm still a little addled.
I'm wondering what could be dangerous behind this wall if it was completely sealed off.
Why don't you make a quick perception or investigation check?
I'm going to do perception.
Perfect.
And it was an 8. Man, jeez.
Well, it actually looks like a relatively natural cavern back there.
Okay, well, let's head out. I mean, as fun as it was to go spelunking in this thing, we're still looking for fallen heaven.
Yes. Well, okay. All right. Follow me. I'll take the lead in here.
Okay. I want you guys to make some perception checks. This is a natural cavern, so it's not formed stone or anything. It's not dressed stone. Um,
Roos got a 15 on perception.
okay.
If I get to do another one, I got a 19. I did do a perception check just recently though.
Oh, you did. Okay. Well, this is for that was to see kind of what the place was like, and I could have given you some more information. But now you're actually walking in it. This is to see if anything like kind of is going to jump out and get you.
Okay, then I got a 19.
Abby got a 21.
Nari got an 11.
And what's the marching order?
Do we want to do the same one we have been doing? Pine first, then Roos, then Nari and Ebby?
Perfect.
That's fine with me. Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
Okay. All right. You start heading down this natural cavern. It's a narrow, snaking tunnel. Sometimes it gets wider to 20, 30, 40 feet wide, and the ceiling gets really, really high, like, 20 or 30 feet high. And sometimes it narrows way down to just like, never too much thinner than 5 feet. So you can still pass through without having to squeeze, but then it will always open back up. And one thing that you guys notice, especially with your 19 and 21 perception checks, Pine and Ebby, you feel wind on your face. You feel a breeze. And there's one thing that you guys have learned or have been told or picked up somewhere, and that is that if it blows, it goes. That's a phrase you've heard from other, like some of the spelunkers who come down or the scavengers who come in looking for crystals when they go into the ruins, and they know that if they go into a natural cavern, if they can feel wind, that means there's a way out. And so you're kind of going through this cavern with that thought in your brain that there is some wind that's ruffling hair and moving things. So that means that there must be some kind of an exit at the other end of this cavern. As you are going through this cavern, snaking around, you also notice that it's gradually climbing and you are going back up. So if you recall, when you went down into this facility, you went down for quite a ways, and now you're climbing back up. And with the perception checks that we have for Ebby, even though you're at the back of the group, there's a point where you it looks like the cave kind of ends, but Ebby, you can feel the wind still blowing at you straight ahead, and Ebby, you hear a noise on the other side of what looks like a wall, but as you look closer, it's actually more like a pile of rubble. You can hear noise coming from the other side of the rubble, and it sounds almost like voices.
Can I make out like whether these sound like gobloid voices or whether these sound familiar at all, like they're speaking a language we can understand?
So why don't you make an insight check? With
Okay.
your perception of 21, you detected the voices, and then make an insight check.
21 insight.
No, they do not sound like gobloid. You can't make out the words, but you can hear the pitch and the tone. And it sounds like you've got a deeper voice and you've got a slightly higher voice. And they're having some kind of a conversation.
I hear people speaking on the other side of this wall.
Can you make out what they're saying?
No, it's too faint, but at least I can tell that they're not gobloids. Whoever they are, though, I bet that they are. They're probably not some monstrous beast from the wild.
Can you tell how many people there are?
I hear at least 2.
Well, we might startle them if we start digging our way into their side from this way, so maybe we should holler at them?
I guess I'm fine with that. We have a wall between us if they're not friendly.
If we're able to dig carefully, perhaps we can hear a little bit more clearly.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
All right, let's start moving some stones.
All right. So are we going to do it sneakily?
Yes.
Okay. So who's going to be doing the digging?
The one with muscles?
The one with muscle. Oh, yeah. She doesn't have. No, she has a disadvantage still, doesn't she?
Oh, yeah.
I have hella disadvantage. You don't want me sneaking.
I can do it.
Why don't you make a stealth check as you dig?
Before Before he does that, I'm actually going to go up and touch him and use my Nature's Blessing cantrip and give him an additional D4 to his ability check.
Okay.
Perfect.
And as he's digging, I'm gonna pull up my scarf of comprehend languages and activate it just in case.
And I rolled a 23 on my stealth with that extra D4.
All right, yeah, you are moving things quietly, and there's a couple times where you can almost feel like you pull a rock out and you see a couple tumble, and you instantly just something courses through you, Pine. You're just very aware, and you just reach out real quick and grab the two stones that are falling before they can clack together really loud and make a noise. And you keep handing them back, and you keep moving the pile, and things become more clear.
Pine is having flashbacks to catching his kids falling off of stuff. It's like that dad sense that keeps kids from danger.
Yeah. Side note, Aurora at 7 months can pull herself up and stand, and I have caught her like 5 times in the last 2 days from just slamming her head on stuff.
Oh yeah,
That's so impressive, though.
I know, it's crazy. It's so weird seeing this tiny little thing standing.
that's crazy. That's like what happened when you were in town, and we were at the park, and these kids were swinging, and my little girl went walking, and she was just about to get clocked, and I had to race over to grab her. I didn't tell you this, Matt, but my knee hurt for 4 weeks after that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm not as young as I used to be. Okay, so things start to get a little bit clearer. You actually start to see some light flickering in places. The light's not constant, so you assume it's some kind of a light source, like a lantern or a torch or a fire of some kind. And the voices become more clear as you have your scarf around your head, listening to these voices. Roos, you recognize that you don't need it because they are actually speaking Ustranian, which is kind of the native tongue of this area of the world. And actually, I think that Roos and Nari both speak that language. You hear two voices. You hear a lower, gruff voice saying, "I'm tired of waiting." And then you hear a higher voice say, "Just be patient. We know that she doesn't travel as quickly as she used to." And then the gruff voice says, "Yes, but why do we have to wait for her? She gives me the creeps." And then the higher voice says, "The White Widow is a great leader." And then they kind of stop talking and are silent.
I will quietly relay the information of what we heard to Pine and Evie, just assuming that they don't speak the language.
Do we stop? Do we? Sorry, I'm trying to stage whisper it with a voice, and it's not easy. Do we stop moving the wall now?
Well, I don't know who they are or what they're aligned with, but I'm in no position to fight.
I, for one, don't want to go out and encounter them, but that's just my opinion.
At this point, you've been walking for hours from the facility.
Okay, so we could probably take a long rest here and see if we overhear anything else while we sleep.
Yeah.
What do you all think of that? Sleeping here and seeing if we overhear anything on the other side of this wall.
I think that's a great idea. We could post somebody up all night to listen and maybe wake everybody if something fishy's going on.
Perfect.
Okay. You guys kind of bed down for a little bit, get comfortable. As you're sitting there, a few minutes pass, and then you hear that gruff voice say, "Oh, who's this now?" And then you hear another voice, and it's a very deep voice, and it says, "All right, look alive, you two. She's on her way. She'll be here shortly." I need Roos to make a history check with disadvantage, and I need Pine to make a history check straight up.
Even though I don't understand the language? I guess if Roos is communicating what they're saying.
This is a different language. This is Almerian.
Okay.
Roos got a 16 with his disadvantage.
And I rolled a 21.
All right. Roos, you think you recognize the voice, actually. It's a voice that you heard about a year ago when you were on a mission, kind of a personal mission. in the town of the city of Marlek, in the bastion of Marlek. And Pine, as you hear the voice, instantly your mind is taken back to standing atop a wall, watching Imperial forces approach Redleaf, and you see a 7-foot tall, 16-year-old
Tiny.
with huge muscles, a large warhammer, and 2 short horns on the top of his head. Yes, and you recognize the voice of Brinby Tiny, your former, what was he called again? Your
My valet.
valet. Yes, your former valet. And that is where we will stop for the night.
Awesome. He survived.
I have no idea how he survived that.
Well, nobody knows what you're talking about yet, Ruse.
Can I really quick say, we must get through this wall?
Awesome. All right. So thank you for joining us again on another episode of the Crystal Codex with the 12-Sided Guys. Thanks for listening and have a great night. We'll talk to you guys later.